Catholicism's the best.
Number one, though?
Obviously. Who else is in contention here?
Muslims? Jews?
Solid claim.
You think Catholic's number one?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, why?
We did it, dude. Look at the Vatican. We did it.
Yeah.
Invented the Western
You hate
world.
Invented the Western
That's
world.
number one. Number one.
Catholicism, number one.
I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber.
Latin Mass by day, TradTards podcast by night, all day.
Are you homosexual, your eminence? Those Novus Ordo priests, they do communion in the hand. You can't do that. It's disgusting.
So long as we bear innocently that divine image in the face of the evil of the world, we shall never perish. Why, we have already won!
Welcome back to another Puffs with Peter podcast episode. I'm here with our very special guest, Benito Soprano, who, if I check my notes here, is from the foreign island of Sicily, which, according to my notes, is an island in sub-Saharan Africa. Is this correct?
Hey, Tone, how you doing? Yeah, I am part black, that's for sure.
Wow, this is incredible.
Italian and African.
I thought we had policies against having your kind on the show, but apparently not. The Puffs with Peter podcast is officially integrated tonight.
I'm about as black as Kamala Harris.
That's incredible. Wow. But yeah, no, back again with TradTards. Back with Benito Soprano. Another nom de guerre we've come up with in the past 2 minutes prior to starting the episode. But we have some noise in the background. There's some neighborhood children that aren't watching Skibidi Toilet, and they're apparently throwing a football around. So,
yeah, it was actually nice to see,
yeah.
We live in such a modern world where kids are just so obsessed with their iPads and their tablets and video games, rotting their damn brains out. It's actually nice to see some kids out playing for once.
Yeah, so they're out running around, and you'll probably hear them in the background. He's kicking a football around. It's like freaking peanuts out here. A lot more diverse.
It's still summer break, so
yeah,
kids are out late.
Yeah, so a lot's been going on. I don't know, it seems like every week there's some shit going on in the news these days.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it now.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. Every now and again, you just gotta tune it out. It's too much sometimes, but
I know we've both been pretty busy. Kind of personally,
yeah,
pretty busy. My apologies. Did you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so my name is Benito, and last name Soprano. No affiliation to any of the famous.
Please do not
ones
sue
out
us,
there.
HBO.
But yeah, so I am a cradle Catholic. I actually hail originally from New York.
We're getting like every part of the country on this podcast. Yeah. By episode 4, we've had, let's see here, a Wisconsinian, someone originally from Louisiana, and a Georgian. And so now we're getting a pureblood Yank here.
Yeah, it's amazing that I'm still Catholic, being that I'm from New York, and I'm Italian and Spanish too, so obviously culturally I grew up Catholic, but it wasn't really until I moved to the heart of the South where, Catholicism is really thriving. It's kind of amazing, I go home and, you go to all the local parishes there, or even seeing my own family. It's kind of sad to see the amount of people that have kind of left the faith.
Because by numbers, there's still more Catholics, but it's just like a cultural Catholicism, would you say?
No, it's really interesting. It's very sad, but hopefully one day that'll change. Don't call me a Yankee ever again.
He's Southern by the grace of God. He's here in the South now, so we have extended your citizenship below the Mason-Dixon, as it were.
But yeah, to continue, I'm originally from there, and now, live in the South, and it's much better down here. I have a family of my own, married last year.
Love to see it.
And now I started a family too. I've got a daughter, about 5 months old, going on 6 here soon, and man, it's been such a blessing. It'll change your life for the better for sure.
A very cute baby. I can tell y'all listeners at home, I can attest to the cuteness of this child.
Very cute. Yes.
And so, I know you've been a little more active. I haven't had as much access to the Latin Mass recently because of work training, but what have you heard about the supposed new Latin Mass restrictions from our most pastoral of popes? Papa Francesco, we love you, Papa Francesco. They say they say he's the best pope out there. You know, that's what people tell me.
That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell me.
And now
I don't know.
There's going to be 2 TradCath Trumps on tonight's episode, so I hope that no one was getting tired of that on all the previous episodes.
Yeah, and I didn't grow up in TradCath realm. I just grew up Novus Ordo. Had no idea what Latin was. I just thought Latin was something that you read on a medication bottle.
Damn.
And it wasn't until I met you and you started bringing me. So here we are. I appreciate it. You probably saved my soul.
My guests give me too much credit, but I do appreciate it. But yeah, so what have you heard about these? Our amazing Pope.
Well, so the original restrictions, going back to Traditionis Custodes, I think Francis is just a little, with all due respect to Francis, I think he's a little pissed off that the majority of the response from the bishops has been, negative to his overturning of, Benedict's rule.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting to see because, the 2-year indult, he'd think he'd get some bishops on board, but especially you see kind of like a Catholic empire, if you will, coming out of America. Like, I feel like if Catholicism is saved and is to be traditional again, it's kind of coming from America. It's really interesting to be a part of that.
God bless America.
Yeah.
They're going to move Rome to St. Louis. Just like in Canticle for Leibowitz, Rome is
as long as it's away from D.C., away from every McCarrick out there, I'm all right with that.
Yeah. But have you heard anything about recent? Because I keep saying that new restrictions. There goes the children.
Yeah.
You mentioned Pope Francis and the children just scream. But yeah, so they keep saying that there's new restrictions coming down the pipe, and that the Pope didn't sign off on it. There's all this smoke and mirrors.
Apparently, there was a document already drafted
a
while ago, and it's just awaiting his signature. But it's really interesting to see though because. Even if you look at the Archdiocese of Arlington in the state of Virginia, he's given them another 2-year dispensation.
Yeah.
To
I know
keep continuing.
One diocesan TLM here in the state of Virginia ran out, and I'll go ahead and name the parish Holy Comforter in Charlottesville.
Yeah, it's sad.
They ran out, unfortunately. Although apparently it's changing to a Reverent Novus Ordo in Latin ad orientem, but still, that. Yeah,
what is that, like the 69 missal or whatever, the one that never used?
It's not even the 6. No, it's the Mass of Paul VI. It's just there's nothing against doing it.
Oh, they're just doing it in Latin.
Yeah, they're just doing it in Latin, and with it's kind of like how John Cantius does it. If you've seen their live streams where they do their Novus Ordo, but it's it's a unicorn Novus Ordo, I like to call it.
Well, right? I don't know. I think it's just that's kind of poopy.
It is very poopy.
Either go big or go home. Do the real thing or don't do it at all.
Yeah,
That's my philosophy.
Holy Comforter, I visited, of course, and it's a small parish, so that might be why they don't want to rock the boat, and I get that, but it's just a sad state of affairs as always.
Yeah. But, as far as the, it was supposed to be, 2 years, and then, they go ahead and just outright ban it, and supposedly this document's been drafted, I've heard as even... just in hearsay that it's even been around since really the later part of last year is when it was drafted, and it's just been awaiting a signature. But I don't know, it is a little strange. It was supposed to come out. Everyone was saying this July.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what Francis's plan is. It seems like he's gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on something, and then he'll do something like giving the Diocese of Arlington another 2 years. And you're just curious what the end game is.
See, obviously the assassination of Donald Trump, that was actually put together by the Jesuits. They obviously did. They obviously did that, and that was part of the Pope's plan. Once Trump was out of the way, then he could restrict the Latin Mass.
They could build back better.
They could build back better.
Riding with Biden. The true American Catholic.
And obviously, the assassin's bullet just missed, and the Pope's plan was completely destroyed. This is actually what happened. My sources tell me so. I have amazing sources, the best even. Okay. Oh god. So yeah, it remains to be seen. I don't know. How do you feel about these sources that come out of the Vatican? Sometimes they're very good because apparently, when TC happened, that there was very good sources like Arati Chali had that were like, "Hey, this is happening," and then it did.
Yeah, no.
But then other times they said other things and nothing's come to pass. So
I think on the majority part they can be trusted. Most of the stuff that's been said has come true. plus or minus like a few months difference here and there, but
Yeah.
I feel like most of the stuff has come to fruition of what has been foreseen.
Things move slow in government and doubly so in the Vatican, so it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I still think the end game is to, I mean, that's what this, like, quote-unquote reverent Latin Novus Ordo is, right? I mean, they'll explicitly tell you it's to try and, you know, attract the people into the carnival mass.
Well, the thing is, it's always irked me when they try to make the unicorn masses, because by what standard is it better, a Novus Ordo like that? It's because it's closer. All of the aspects that make it a better Novus Ordo are just the things that are standard in the old mass.
But yeah.
Right? So it's like trying to ape the old mass, and that's what makes it good. It's just like we're such like, you know, hands on head.
Well, by that, I mean, it's like an admission of, like...
Yeah, the new mass is sufficient. It's like the only good ones look like the Latin mass. The children are quite rambunctious. You mentioned the Novus Ordo, and they just hate it.
Yeah.
It's a natural response. But, yeah, okay, well, I guess we can speculate all night about if the Pope's going to pull the trigger on anything. Do we know the specifics of what they want to do? Has that been... Because I haven't heard much of that. I've always tried to look up that.
I know they want to completely, for sure, outright ban any diocesan priest at all. It'll just be exclusively for fraternity, institute,
Ecclesia Dei communities. Yeah.
I think some Dominicans still, certain sects of Dominicans still.
Yeah, well, there still
private.
exists like a Dominican rite, an Ambrosian rite. You know, some of these smaller rites, kind of like sub-rites within the Roman rite, that they survived Trent.
Yeah,
but they're so similar to, you know, the Tridentine Mass anyway that, you know, the average layman wouldn't be able to tell the difference, besides maybe a different, like a prayer is inserted at one point than another, something like that. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, because I think that's where, to them, the real, what they would consider the damage is happening at the diocesan level, where the normie, it's not the people that have like grown up in the trad circle. It's like they don't want the Novus Ordo Catholic finding out about the Latin Mass.
Yeah.
They don't want that happening. And
I mean, have you seen these parishes' bulletins? They put a freaking QR code because they can't announce the mass. Have you seen this?
Yes.
You literally have to. It's like there's going to be this mass on Sunday at this time. For more information, please scan this QR code.
For Latin language fans, there is a special mass for you. Please look at our website, hidden under the tab, and go in incognito mode when you do, so that way it's not reported to the Vatican servers.
It's kind of sad. It is sad. We're all going to be pushed out. Once they get rid of the diocesan option to say the TLM, it's going to go to the Ecclesia Dei communities, and I think once that happens, we're going to be pushed out to the society. And then, once that happens...
Then they'll completely cut the society off outside of their purview. So
that's the plan.
You see that happening.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the droves of young people that just are coming out. It's crazy.
It's interesting. I do think, for the most part, Latin Mass parishes, or just any trad liturgies, not just the Latin Mass, but you can include the BizCath rites, or even even some like really like unicorn Novus Ordos out there that attract the youth. We're seeing now it still follows like geographic patterns. Like obviously, if you go to a TLM that's in the middle of nowhere, you're not going to see many young people.
Right. Yeah.
But the demographic range is still going to be skewed much lower, even at a mass that's like out in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, we'll have to see. It remains to be seen.
I really think it's just because of the age of modernism that we live in. People want something that's rooted and that is just like beautiful. Like nothing's beautiful anymore.
Everything's fucking ugly.
Offer it. Yeah,
everything's extremely fucking ugly.
It's like some purple-haired lesbian. Like
as long as there is a Starbucks in your town, there is an embassy to the Globo Homo. Like you're plugged in. If you have a Starbucks in your town, it doesn't matter how remote you are. You're plugged into the trash. So, no, I agree.
So, from my personal experience, it was a little intimidating at first, especially because, I've only been going to TLM regularly since COVID. So I guess 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years now.
That's
so
pretty good. You're a regular.
I guess so, but I don't know. I'm still intimidated sometimes when I go, just because you just see so many young, beautiful families, and I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional family and didn't really have a lot of roots in the faith. Like we had mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, it was like more cultural, if anything.
Yeah.
So I will say it's been a learning curve. Like, I'm almost learning how to right the wrongs of even my upbringing, and how to, bring how my wife and I will bring our children up to have an outlet away from secular society, to have a normal life. And but yeah, I mean, parenthood in itself is just so beautiful and really edifying. I honestly don't know how you can't believe in God when you partake in creation with Him.
I don't even know how people are atheists. I'm at that point. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, how do you like live life and just think it's like a fucking mistake, or like just like a completely random series of events that there's no meaning objectively?
How do you prove that there is no higher being? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, no,
We have more proof.
Excuse me. Actually, we need empirical evidence.
But if you're racist, though, we still know that's evil, no matter what. Even if there is no God, racism will still send you to hell.
But yeah, back to the parenthood. Yeah, it's been really beautiful and edifying. It is intimidating to see all the really big young families with so many kids at the mass, so well behaved. Just coming from a dysfunctional family. It's beautiful. They're a living testimony to me and my family on how to raise our children, and just have like a beautiful life the way that God created us to live.
It's so fitting we have these kids in the background.
Yeah.
talking about this.
They are not added in. It is not a loop playing in the background.
Actually, there's kids throwing a football around.
The Holy Family is definitely a good model to look to see what normal life should look like.
Yeah.
I mean,
just be concerned if your kid runs off to Jerusalem when they're 12, and you have to take a flight all the way over there.
They've been missing for 3 days. Yeah, I had no idea.
You have to take an international flight to Israel in the midst of the.
Oh God, not right now.
Yeah, this would be a very bad time to go to the temple. Go to the Temple Mount. That'd be.
I touched the wall. Teach me your ways.
Yeah, you gotta touch the
Teach
wall.
me your ways.
Like every single leader in the world has to do it. I think one of the funny things about the Latin Mass, and especially, I'm not a parent yet, obviously, but obviously you just hear this cacophony of children crying. This whole chorus, the infant chorus, and I love hearing it, frankly.
You know what? It's beautiful. You go to a Novus Ordo parish, and all you hear is people dying in the background. Their oxygen runs low.
Do they bring out the incense?
Everyone's allergic to incense. Everyone's allergic to incense.
Oh, it makes my rheumatitis get worse. They bring it out, and I gotta put on the oxygen mask.
The last Novus Ordo Mass I went to, actually, sorry, this is a little tangent. I'll be quick about it. But
it's fine.
It was the Feast of Corpus Christi.
Oh, okay.
Feast of Corpus Christi here in my hometown. And, they have, 12, whatever you call them, extraordinary Karens, or ministers, I mean.
Super Karens.
I would argue the Karen of the Catholic community is Susan. That's the name.
Oh, yeah,
Susan.
no, it's Susan. Yeah,
Susan.
we know that.
It's not Karen, it's Susan.
Susan from
Susan.
the Parish Council.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. But, all these women, all these old women just come up, and, they've all got, whatever, the shakes, the tremors.
The pantsuits.
And the lady dropped the entire chalice of the blood of our Lord. Yes.
Are you...
And a man came up with a cloth, wiped up some, and tried to walk away. And thankfully there was a deacon.
It's like the blind leading the blinds.
Yeah.
This is...
And it's unfortunate. And it's on the feast of the body and blood of our Lord. Not laughing because it's funny.
It's horrible, yeah. No, that's Well, as our last guest put it, the Novus Ordo, it's whack. He's just very, very great summary. I mean, Marcel Lefebvre could have saved so much breath if he had just been like, hey guys, it's just whack. What was? Okay, I don't even know what accent that was. That was not Marcel Lefebvre. Marcel Lefebvre said that. Yeah, that's a quote. It's in a letter to confused Catholics. And there goes our entire audience. They I'm gonna look at my subscriber count. Just drop at that part of the episode. Is there such a thing as too much crying even at a Latin Mass? I think that's a question.
Too much crying.
Too much crying?
There's too much. There's too many children. They just scream.
I think parents are really good about being prudent about when is the right time to take their children to the cry room.
Yeah.
And even with even with the crying, I mean, it doesn't really bother you. I mean, you've got the beautiful chant in the background. You've got, you know, the priest chanting in Latin and the choirs going. It's beautiful. And, you know, the kids crying actually brings me joy because we know that we're leaving them an inheritance.
Yeah, it's true.
Of our faith, you know.
I just remember the first few times going to the mass, and obviously not like the kids that are crying mainly, but just like the little kids, like, you know, like under 7. And they're just like, they just know all the responses by heart. And here I am, like, flipping like a madman through my missal.
Dude,
I'm like,
some 3-year-old boy in a full tux.
It's like schooling me. I'm just like, dang.
Yurikame Deus, Deshane Kalsameo.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I'm like, bro, you're 3.
There's a few times early on where I was like sitting next to a family, and there's like a 6-year-old next to me, and I'm like, hey, I almost want to be like, hey, you know where we're at? Like, can you help me out, brother? Like, I don't know. You're having this like 20-year-old just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's always, and also the, you know, seeing the altar servers up there.
Cool.
Yeah, like I wish I was like half as cool at
We've
their
had
age.
our fair share of being able to serve at a handful of traditional Latin masses.
Yeah, if you know, if it hasn't been clear yet, me and Benito go very far back.
Yeah, to the homeland of Sicily.
To the home. Well, no, not that far, but yeah, no, we go pretty far back. So a lot of shared stories might come up over the course of this, but yeah, man. But no, I mean, yeah, it's probably been a very interesting year being one of those TradCath parents for the first time.
Yeah, and it's almost I kind of get nervous. I mean, not to like go harping back onto the restriction conversation, but it's there's an anxiety there. I mean, we don't dwell on it too much, but sometimes I get worried about, you know, what happens if it's completely restricted. What do I do with my children?
Oh man, I mean, I just think like just having a kid these days there's a lot to think about, just even outside the mass.
Yeah.
Like what is the next 10 years going to look like? Let alone what's going to happen to Latin mass? You know.
We need manly men. St. Joseph, save us, man.
We need manly men. Everyone needs to obviously listen to Pints with Aquinas and buy the mug. Buy the limited.
Choking on my Peter Puffer.
Everyone needs to subscribe. Everyone needs to subscribe to the Peter Puffer podcast, the only source, the Puffs with Peter podcast, the only source of Catholic masculinity. As you know, masculinity in the Catholic sphere is just growing a big beard, being fat,
and letting your wife demand you around. That's it.
Everyone wants to be G.K. Chesterton, but they don't understand that comes with being morbidly obese, drinking way too much, and dying of lung cancer.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite story of G.K. Chesterton is this woman comes up to him and you know, she's talking about his weight basically, and like I don't remember like the full story in detail,
like,
but
fat as hell.
Basically she's like telling him that he's fat or whatever, and talking about how he's like not a gentleman. He basically is like, ma'am, when I am on a bus, you know, like these men get up to give a woman their seat, and that they're rightfully a gentleman, but when I get up, I give 2 women their seats. Oh, man.
One of the things I think is funny, he apparently had like no sense of style at all. He had like negative drip. His wife pretty much had to like stop him from leaving the house on occasion because he would just like throw on like the most jack clothes and like then throw on a cape over it and be like, "Yep, that's good."
He's like the Catholic Batman.
Catholic Batman.
If Batman was cool.
If Batman was extremely overweight, drank way too much, and just was a troll when it came to writing. I mean, he has a great sense of humor. I think that's why people like Chesterton so much.
Yeah.
Because he was a huge troll. Like,
I mean, if you can drink a pint of Bordeaux at a time and just consistently smoke.
Was Chesterton the original TradTard?
That's a good argument to be made. I haven't thought about that. Yes. He may as well. He might be.
TradTard Deep Lore. G.K. Chesterton, the original TradTard. But he's like so mainstream too. Like maybe it's Father Coughlin. Maybe he's the original TradTard. He was kind of the OG shit poster for Catholicism. But maybe another episode. I always find this with these episodes. We always end up like finding a million more topics for future episodes throughout the course of it. So that's normal. So TradCath parenting. I think we've touched on pretty good on that. And the kids have finally left. I really wonder how much usable audio
we started talking about Joseph and the demons left.
The little demons, yeah, as it were. No, I mean it's interesting. It's cool seeing them not on a phone. I will admit. As much as they...
Yeah, it is.
There was this one kid that just kept walking up to us. We tried recording this like 2 separate times, and this little fucker... I'll say it. I don't have a kid yet. I can say it. Just kept coming up to us. It's like, Mister.
By the way, definitely only speaks English. He has 2 sentences he knows in Spanish and just starts calling you an asshole
Yeah,
in Spanish.
he's calling me a cabron as if I wouldn't know that.
And meanwhile, both of us.
Like,
I'm conversational.
I know, I am too, but I just didn't feel like I'm not in that mindset right now. I was telling this kid, like, fuck off. Like, play your games.
We're trying to have our TradCath podcast. Can't you see that?
What's the name of your podcast, sir?
Yeah, I'm just like, you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't think you are. I don't think this is something you should be listening to. Yeah, this is not a kid-friendly podcast, if it hasn't been made clear enough. Although, if there's any kids listening, I guess it's better than looking at porn.
Yes. No. Yeah,
or maybe it would be really embarrassing to be listening to TradTards, and it's just easier to explain to your parents that you'd be looking at that. You know,
kids, stop watching porn. Listen to TradTards. That's how you save yourself.
I'm gonna have to take that. I'm gonna take that soundbite and put it in the intro. Stop watching porn. Listen to TradTards instead. This has already been great. Okay, so speaking of motherhood, Mother Cabrini. So you went and actually saw it. That's the film.
I did not go to the theaters to see it.
You pirated it.
No, I should have.
Yar har fiddle dee.
It did so bad apparently in the box office it was available on Prime.
Who made that movie?
Angel Studios.
What else have they made?
The Chosen. The Chosen.
Okay, so this is I'm reading. Okay, well, give us your honest review. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Mother Cabrini. No.
Amazing. She wasn't Sicilian, but she was Italian.
Yes, she was Italian. I don't remember where. They didn't really even say where from.
Probably some foreign place.
Honest to God, my review of the movie, if it comes down to to a simple synopsis,
yeah,
it is just about being an Italian woman.
It's not.
I mean, she literally says and screams, "I am an Italian and I am a woman." The entire film. That's almost the entire film.
How much of it is like Catholic?
I mean, you know these Catholic movies nowadays. It's like scare quotes. They're not Catholic. Yeah. It's just like they're using.
I mean, what has been? I'm trying to think like Catholic cinema. Okay, so what we have Passion of the Christ. Okay,
Base.
Obviously like the high watermark.
Base.
Right?
Yeah.
But and then like you have to go really far back. Like I haven't seen Man for All Seasons.
I have not.
I've seen the Cardinal? That old movie. Yeah, it's about this like American bishop. Or it's like the bishop. I forgot what it's called. I've seen that. I don't know if all these exorcist, these possession movies count as Catholic films.
Russell Crowe on his little moped.
Actually, we know that actually is the greatest Catholic film.
He literally said to the demon, "Are you not entertained?"
The Pope's Exorcist, the greatest Catholic film of all time.
Yes.
Mel Gibson, I'm sorry, sit the fuck down. Fat Russell Crowe on a Vespa beats the freaking tail off of Passion of the Christ.
Somehow riding that thing, being like 500 pounds from Italy all the way to Spain.
Yeah, it's implied that if you haven't seen the movie, Russell Crowe he's supposed to be Father Amort, who was very famously a exorcist in the Diocese of Rome. So technically, his bishop is the Pope himself.
Yep.
And it's a very dramatized film about that. And it's implied in the film that he drives a Vespa all the way from Rome to northern Spain.
I don't think the shocks would have made it that long.
Dude, I don't think... in the elements? And it was like supposed to be in the summer. He'd just die. He's like wearing his cassock too. Yeah. He's like, there ain't no way. Yeah. Although it's still the greatest part of the film, let's be real.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
Were you there when we watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all went together.
And we went, okay, I guess we have to tell the story. We went and saw it. It was with my girlfriend at the time who was not Catholic yet.
Yeah.
And I'm actually amazed that she still wanted to become Catholic after watching this movie.
What do you mean? It's the greatest Catholic film of all time.
Yeah. No, what am I saying? Yeah. But we had snuck in. There's a Dollar Tree and a liquor store right next to this theater we went to. So of course we did what every person in 2024 or I guess 2023's economy would do, which is buy everything at the Dollar Tree and then go to the liquor store and buy a small handle and then
Bidenomics.
Yeah, Bidenomics. Had to sneak in liquor and goodies into the movie, and so we're just watching this, passing around this bottle of whiskey, watching this horrible freaking movie. It's great. Okay.
Anyway,
but,
back to Mother Cabrini.
yeah, back to Mother Cabrini.
Okay. I mean, don't get me... Okay. Good takeaway from the film? Nothing.
Like the most lost expression.
You know,
like,
I was trying to find something, and then I was
there
like,
any funny moment, anything that stood out? There was like a funny scene.
Something really badass.
Okay.
Some little kid. Okay. So horrible story. Spoiler alert. But this little kid, he ends up going into Mother Cabrini's like orphanage that she started as soon as she got there. This kid's got to be like 5, 6 years old, whatever. I don't remember his name, but his father committed suicide. The mother died of some illness or whatever. And
died of living in the 19th century.
Yeah. But anyways, this kid has his father's revolver.
Oh.
And anyways, Mother Cabrini takes in this like prostitute at this saloon there or whatever, and she's helping like with these kids and kind of being a nurse and whatever. It's interesting. But anyways, her employer, or her Andrew Tate, if you will.
Her Andrew. Okay, her pimp. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, her pimp lord.
Her Andrew Tate. Okay.
Her pimp lord comes storming into the orphanage. And lays hands on her, and Mother Cabrini steps in and gives the whole spiel about how she's Italian and a woman, and basically tells her fuck off. And this little 5-year-old kid takes out his dad's revolver and fucking shoots him, bro.
And this is the highlight of the film.
Yes, this is the highlight according to me. Okay. This was my favorite part of the film. He does not kill him, but he severely wounds him. But then later on, he comes back to the orphanage, and Mother Cabrini sits him down at the table. They're sitting across from each other, and she just puts the revolver on the table, and she goes, "I believe this belongs to you." So badass. Pro Second Amendment right there. There we go. Give the kid back his revolver.
Incredible film.
He did his duty as a young man of the orphanage house to protect.
As a gun-toting Catholic, I think I'm obliged to give this movie 2 thumbs up now.
Yeah.
Okay, but why? All right,
she took his bullets, though.
Oh.
She took his bullets. She gave him the gun, though.
Well, hey, that's pretty. That counts for something. But
that's the only.
But that's the only cool part of the film.
I mean, you get to see some cool rats. Some New York, some New York rats.
They filmed on locations.
Yes, basically, yes.
So it's literally just like, I am woman, I am free. Hear me roar, rah rah.
Yes.
And that's the fucking movie.
That's the movie, yeah. She tells off everyone, including her superiors, all the superiors, all the bishops, cardinals, everything.
Wow.
The Pope. She has, I think, 2 or 3 scenes with the Pope, and just basically...
Wait, what Pope was it? When was this movie set? I mean,
it's supposed to be Leo XIII. Funny enough,
one of the most base popes ever.
The guy that they picked looks exactly like Pius X. So the whole movie, I'm like, so fucking confused, because this guy looks like Pius X. I literally told him, I was like, this doesn't add up. Like, the guy looks like Pius X. It's supposed to be Leo XIII. But
they got their base popes mixed up.
Yeah,
Leo is one of the. I mean, he's kind of slept on. Everyone knows Pius X. All the Pius is very good. God, okay, but yeah, Leo XIII, very good pope.
Yeah, he was
amazing encyclicals.
Very slept on.
Okay, so I mean, that's all you need to know. I guess it's kind of poo poo, but if you want to see a little kid shoot a pimp, worth the price of Amazon Prime or whatever streaming service.
I don't even remember how much I spent to rent it. I think it was like $14.
So this is a pirate this movie.
Yes, pirate this movie.
Yeah, pirate this film.
Or just never watch it. You could do that.
Save your time. Time is valuable. Okay, good to know. Well, I guess that was off the list. I don't know if it ever was on it. There is a movie coming out that I saw an ad for called Conclave. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it's about like a papal conclave, and it looks like it's like full of intrigue. It looks interesting. Maybe it'll come out and it'll be like super anti-Catholic, but it looks like in the same way that The Young Pope is a Catholic TV show. I feel like it's kind of like that, but with a movie. That's what it looks like. Because like Young Pope, obviously not a good moral, right? There's no moral standard there, but it is definitely 100% Catholic. Yep. It is Catholic media, even if it is like House of Cards with a Catholic reskin, right? There's still some great shots in it, and it's obvious the creators are Catholics because they know what the hell they're talking about. It kind of feels like that. So I'll just send you a trailer for that, but it looks interesting. Yeah, Catholic movies. Very.
All I gotta say about the young Pope, Francis, bring back the tiara.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Dress back better. Get them red slippers on, boy.
Make Rome great again.
Make it great. Make it drippy. The Pope has so much drip and he refuses to use it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tragedy. Okay.
Frolicking Francis.
Oh god. Yeah, if y'all thought that TradCath Trump was going away, y'all were wrong.
He is here to
back
stay.
with a vengeance. Okay, so I guess that kind of can roll into our next topic, TradCath Feminism, which is, you mentioned it earlier when we were thinking of the agenda, and yeah, no, I think it is a thing. I haven't run into it too much, but in my limited experience dating in the TradCath world, when I did, I ran into this a little bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird phenomenon. Maybe you should. You brought it up, so maybe you can.
Yeah. The Mother Cabrini film kind of ties into this too. I mean, you could do a whole episode, 2 episodes
On weird trad women.
Well, that,
Trad
but even
women.
just feminism in general,
Yeah.
and just its infiltration into the church. It's just secular society just imbuing its filth and disgust. Like,
Well, I think it's like I think it's a little different than like mainstream feminism because you get a lot of. Obviously, unfortunately, there's a lack of fathers in today's day and age. So you get a decent number of mothers who are doing their best to, keep their kids in the faith.
you even in the Catholic realm, you even have dads that are there like physically, but they're just not. They're not present. And
Yeah.
I mean, even like, and to be fair, I mean, even Aquinas will talk about this. Like, then it's the mother's, job to really step in and try to be the. I mean, but she can never become the head. She has to encourage her spouse to be the head.
I mean, I think it's completely well within a woman's rights to kick her husband in the ass if he's not doing anything.
Yep.
Just being a bum. Right, that makes sense. I don't even think that's not even feminism. That's just like, hey, you got your job, I got mine.
Yep.
You're not doing your job.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. So to all the TradCath women out there, don't be dating no bums. Don't be marrying no bums. Kick them in the ass until they start looking like Thomas Aquinas. But I will say there is an interesting phenomena within the trad women sphere. As a young man who used to date within that for a little bit, you get some very high achieving women. Which let me preface this: I don't think it's bad for a woman to like be a hard charger in school or something, or like set high standards for herself. But like you get this weird like dichotomy where like you have like trad women who they kind of want to have their cake and eat it too, in a sense. So like on maybe like religiously, they're very good on having grown up, going to a TLM, or their family's very TradCath, but then like they pretty much like want to have a like a liberated like existence. Maybe they're very career oriented.
Yeah,
like I've seen that a lot. That was my main experience. Was these women, the few women I did date that were already within that sphere, in the tradosphere. They were like very career oriented, which I thought
there's not a lot of these trad women who are in the beginning stages of dating and trying to discern marriage.
Yeah.
Who will openly say that they'll drop their career to be a wife and to be a mother.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, I think that there's something to be said, like, a woman can have, like, a job after a certain point, and it probably won't, like, interfere with family life. So, like, if you have a certain number of kids, and especially after, like, maybe, like, the first 2, I think it's, like, and maybe call me a crazy progressive for this. I don't think it's crazy for a woman maybe to have a job during the day while most of the kids are at school.
Yeah.
Or if she does something from home or something like that. Like there's ways to make extra money, and especially I understand for a lot of trad families that have a lot of kids, if the woman can make some money on her own somehow, then that's probably like a good thing. Right?
And this is a good place to jump in with this too. Okay. So Timothy Gordon and his wife, Steph.
So I don't know much about Mr. Gordon, but so you're gonna have to film
So his book is called The Case for Patriarchy, and her book is called
What an amazing title. Let me tell you, fucking awesome title.
It's the best. And then his wife's book is called Ask Your Husband. And when my wife and I were engaged, we read. I read The Case for Patriarchy. She read Ask Your Husband, and we shared from each of them. So I didn't read Ask Your Husband myself, but I heard a lot from my wife, and then vice versa with The Case for Patriarchy. But they take a very extreme approach. There are circumstances where, and like I'll even admit, like it gets hard because the way it should be is obviously the wife should be able to stay at home, should be able to be with the kids, ideally to be able to educate them, right? Like the parents are supposed to be primary educators, as it is.
And I understand like homeschooling is not always feasible for everybody,
Correct.
but it's something that should be like it should be if you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and this is my point: is the economy in the way it is right now. It is very hard to actually live out traditional Catholic roles. It makes it very hard. I mean, I'll even admit, like, my wife works.
Scandalous.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be, like, it's not hypocritical for me to sit here. Like, my wife's work. Like, ideally, it should not be that way. And we agree. And one day we will be where she won't have to. But right now, that's just because of the economy. It's just the way it is. It's hard to survive out here.
We always have to look at it as, and I'll Fed post a little in saying this, you have to look at it like you're fighting an insurgency, right? Against the entire world, not against the government. To any federal agents, this is not a call to action or anything. To any of you, peacefully, bro. Stand back and then sit down. Is that what he said?
Stand back and stand by.
But you have to look at it almost like that, because what you need, and this is something that I see happening, but it needs to continue to happen, is there needs to be a completely parallel, alternate social network. Maybe not a social network, but a social network between like-minded people to support each other, right? So homeschooling co-ops, right? Or, if a woman wants to stay at home still, there's still ways for them to make money while at home, right? And there's ways to do that. And the easiest ways to be able to make things affordable is if you have other people to lean on, right? Whether it be, your parents are helping you out, like living at your parents' home is completely acceptable.
Well, so this is another thing too. I think it's mainly an American thing in that we're so individualistic, right? Yeah. Like, if you look back, I mean, even a couple generations ago in my family,
extended family versus nuclear family.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, you look at it and, like, families live together. Yeah. They helped each other start.
Family home.
Yeah. And I mean, like, my family, when they came over, they bought a lot of land, and at the time that was feasible within the economy. And everyone lived on it. Everyone had their own private little space, but everyone lived on it. And you know what? They helped each other start. But now what it is
everyone goes to college and they move. And they just follow work all over. They never settle roots.
Yeah, everything's about your career, and you have to live by yourself with your wife and your one child. Thanks, NFP. In your 6-bedroom house. The fuck is wrong? See, like, what's wrong with everyone?
Well, I think what I'd love to see is
live to your means.
Live to your means, but like, all right, let's say like you're blessed enough to inherit like a large home or a large property. Fuck zoning laws. FBI agents are really listening right now. But like, what's to stop you from like just renting out to maybe a starting trad family that just needs like a place to be for a couple of years? Rent out a part of your property at a good rate, right? And like, guess what? The wives can stay at home and help each other out with the kids or whatever, make, communal meals and stuff like that. I mean, we got to start thinking big picture, extended family networks. Like, we are a people under siege, and we got to kind of start living like that. Yeah. Right? But I think it's good. I mean, we see this a lot. I mean, a lot of the TradCath communities are like this, right? There's a lot of cooperation. Families constantly help each other out. Maybe one guy's a doctor, right? Yeah. One family, the man of the house is a doctor, the other is a dentist or something like that. I mean, there's ways you can help each other out. Or one guy's really good with cars, right? Like, you have a whole social network there that you do not see, you see it a bit at some Nova Scotia parishes, like, to their credit, right? People are good all over the place. Yeah. But we need to start making some real fundamental changes to how we view our lives and try to build that social capital.
And you know what? And that takes time.
Yeah.
And I think people get so obsessed with going 0 to 100 on a lot of things. Like, you're not, if the economy is forcing you and your spouse to both work at that time, you can't just be like, well, I'll just quit right now, and then, because then you can't pay your bills, right?
Exactly.
You have to incrementally look and work on your finances, look for better opportunities. Sometimes that may mean that you need a different job or, to go a different route. Sometimes that might mean that you need to cut back on certain finances. Like, these things incrementally take time, but you can get there. And to a lot of, those, I'm speaking now to young, Catholic families that are starting out. Be patient with yourselves. You can be very hard on yourselves. I know this. My wife and I experienced this within ourselves. We're very hard on ourselves to try and get to that place right now. But have hope. Especially if you're really young. Like, the good part about getting married young, when you have nothing, is you go through it together. And that will strengthen your marriage.
Yeah.
In the future, you would have went through all of that together.
Shared suffering, man. It creates strong ass bonds. It's a real thing. Yeah. So keep hope, everybody, and build that social capital and create those networks that are super fucking strong.
Would you like a top off on your bourbon, sir?
We're this has actually been the most classy episode of TradTards. We're drinking very good bourbon while we're having our cigars.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bourbon.
It's good shit. All right, so I mean, this has been a very family-oriented episode. I think that's going to be the title for this podcast.
To throw Chesterton back in there really quick, the pint, the pipe, and the cross, all have a place together.
And to quote Dom Toretto,
it's about family.
I'm going to put a giant Vin Diesel. That's what the thumbnail's going to be. It's going to be TradTards and Vin Diesel with a giant pectoral cross.
Family, family, family.
Family, 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 family.
Okay, so that kind of gets us into the meat of our episode, the schmeat. We just thought,
let's just stop there.
That's the bourbon talking.
Hey guys, Anthony here. So with this episode, I ran into a very interesting and novel problem. We actually recorded so much content, I can't fit it all into one episode, and I really wanted to get something out to y'all sooner rather than later. So we're making it a two-parter. This will be part one. There will also be a third piece of media that comes out of this recording session. We went for about 2 hours, so there's a lot to go over, and there's a lot of content. And I'm really happy to get it to y'all. As always, stay subscribed here on the YouTube. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and also go on to Telegram and subscribe to us on there so you can get all the latest updates and announcements about any upcoming content. Hope to see y'all in the next one, and the second part should be dropping very soon. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.